The backup striker nobody wanted. He wasn't even supposed to be on the roster. By season's end, the entire country was chanting his name. Part 1. The last name on the list. The rain poured over the training ground like a curtain of gray. Noah Hayes stood alone near the parking lot, gripping the strap of his worn duffel bag. 22 years old. Rejected by 6 professional clubs in less than 8 months. Every rejection email sounded the same. Not the right fit. Insufficient top-level experience. We wish you success elsewhere. Elsewhere. That magical place nobody could ever define. His savings were almost gone. His apartment lease would expire in 3 months. His father had gently suggested finding a normal job. Maybe football simply wasn't meant for him. Then his phone rang. Is this Noah Hayes? Yes. This is Coach Martin from Riverside FC. Noah nearly dropped the phone. Riverside FC played in the nation's top division. Not a powerhouse. Not a glamorous club. But still professional. His heartbeat accelerated. We need an additional striker. Coach Martin continued. One of our academy players suffered an injury this morning. Noah waited. We can offer a 1-year contract. The world suddenly became quiet. A contract? He whispered. Yes. When do you need me? Training starts tomorrow. Noah stared into the rain. A professional contract. After everything. After every rejection. After every humiliation. Someone had finally said yes. The celebration lasted exactly 1 day. Because reality arrived the moment he entered Riverside's training facility. The club had finished 15th last season. The media predicted relegation. Fans were angry. Sponsors were leaving. And nobody seemed happy to see him. Especially the senior players. You're the emergency signing? The voice belonged to star striker Ethan Cross. Team captain. National team player. Club legend. Noah nodded. Ethan looked him up and down. You played semi-professional football last year. Yes. Ethan shrugged. Good luck. Then he walked away. The other players followed. No introductions. No welcome. Nothing. Noah suddenly understood. They didn't view him as a teammate. They viewed him as a temporary replacement. A spare part. A body. The season began badly. Very badly. Riverside lost 4 of their first 6 matches. Fans demanded changes. Sports analysts mocked the team every week. Noah spent every game on the bench. 90 minutes. 89 minutes. 90 minutes again. Sometimes he didn't even warm up. Coach Martin rarely acknowledged him. The message was clear. Stay ready. But don't expect opportunities. One evening Noah sat alone in the locker room after another match without playing. A voice interrupted his thoughts. Still here? Assistant coach Daniel Reyes stood nearby. Noah nodded. Just thinking. Daniel sat beside him. You know what most players do when this happens? What? They quit mentally. Noah stared at the floor. I haven't quit. Daniel smiled. I know. The assistant coach leaned forward. That's why I'm talking to you. Noah looked up. Daniel continued. Football seasons are long. Things change quickly. Noah laughed bitterly. Not quickly enough. Trust me. Daniel stood. They always do. 3 weeks later, disaster struck. During a league match, Ethan Cross collapsed while sprinting. The stadium fell silent. The medical team rushed onto the field. The diagnosis arrived the next day. Hamstring tear. 3 months out. Riverside's leading scorer was gone. Suddenly the club had a problem. A very serious problem. And Noah Hayes was no longer invisible. The following weekend, Coach Martin approached him before kickoff. You'll play today? Noah froze. Me? 20 minutes. His pulse exploded. After months of waiting. After months of doubt. The chance had finally arrived. The stadium lights seemed brighter than ever. The crowd louder. The pressure heavier. But for the first time in his life, he was stepping onto a professional field. Not as a spectator. Not as a substitute waiting forever. As a football player. The whistle blew. And Noah Hayes ran onto the pitch. His dream had finally begun. Part 2, the chance nobody expected. The crowd wasn't cheering. They were complaining. Thousands of fans groaned when Noah's number appeared on the giant screen. "Who is that? Where's Ethan? We're finished." The comments reached his ears. Every word. Every doubt. Every insult. Noah swallowed hard and stepped onto the field. The score was tied 1-1. 20 minutes remained. Riverside desperately needed a victory. Coach Martin shouted instructions. "Press hard." Noah nodded. His legs felt heavy. His mind raced. Everything moved faster than expected. Professional football wasn't like training. The defenders were stronger. The tackles were harder. The spaces disappeared instantly. For 15 minutes, he barely touched the ball. Fans became even more frustrated. Then the moment arrived. A midfielder intercepted a pass and launched a long ball forward. Noah reacted instinctively. He sprinted. One defender. Then another. The ball bounced awkwardly. Noah stretched. Connected. Shot. The stadium held its breath. The ball smashed against the post. Silence. Then disappointment. The chance was gone. Riverside eventually drew the match. The newspapers were brutal. Unknown substitute misses golden opportunity. Emergency signing fails first test. Riverside still searching for answers. Noah read every article. Every criticism. Every joke. Then he went back to training. Again. And again. And again. Because there was no alternative. Weeks passed. Ethan remained injured. Noah continued receiving limited opportunities. 15 minutes here. 25 there. 30 on rare occasions. Still no goals. But something was changing. The assistant coach noticed first. Then teammates. Then journalists. Noah wasn't hiding anymore. His movement improved. His confidence grew. His decision-making sharpened. He wasn't spectacular. But he was reliable. The kind of player coaches trust. The kind of player opponents hate facing. One rainy evening during training, Daniel Reyes approached him. "You know why you're improving?" Noah shrugged. "Practice." "No." Daniel smiled. "You've spent years fighting for opportunities." He pointed toward the first-team stars. "Most of them never had to." The words stayed with Noah. Because they were true. Every step of his football journey had been difficult. Nothing had ever been handed to him. Maybe that hardship had prepared him for moments others couldn't handle. Then came the scandal. The event that changed Riverside's season. And Noah's life. Star midfielder Lucas Bennett was caught violating league conduct rules. Suspension. 8 matches. Gone. The club entered chaos. Fans were furious. Media coverage became relentless. Riverside slipped to 12th place. The locker room atmosphere deteriorated. Arguments erupted. Confidence disappeared. Everyone expected collapse. Instead, something unexpected happened. The struggling backup striker started scoring. His first goal arrived against Harbor City. A simple finish. Nothing spectacular. But it counted. 1 week later he scored again. Then again. Then again. 4 goals in 5 matches. Suddenly journalists began learning his name. Fans started paying attention. Coach Martin finally trusted him enough to start games. And Noah rewarded that trust. Each match made him stronger. Each goal made him bolder. Each victory made the team believe. The player nobody wanted was becoming impossible to ignore. Near the halfway point of the season, Riverside faced league leaders Kingston United. The strongest team in the country. Most experts predicted a comfortable Kingston victory. Noah heard the predictions. Then ignored them. Because underdogs survive by ignoring expectations. The match became a war. 90 minutes of relentless pressure. Tackles. Counterattacks. Near misses. The score remained tied at 1-1. Then, in the 88th minute, Noah received the ball near midfield. 1 touch. 2 touches. He accelerated. A defender lunged. Missed. Another followed. Too late. The goalkeeper charged forward. Noah chipped the ball. The stadium exploded. Goal. 2-1. Riverside had defeated the league leaders. And Noah Hayes had scored the winner. For the first time all season, the crowd chanted his name. Noah! 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 The sound echoed through the night. And Noah finally understood. People were starting to believe. Maybe he belonged here after all. Part 3: The Collapse and the Rise. Success can be dangerous, especially when nobody expects it. After their victory over Kingston, Riverside climbed rapidly up the table. 12th became 9th. 9th became 6th. 6th became 4th. Suddenly the impossible seemed possible. A title challenge. The media called it a miracle. The players called it momentum. The fans called it destiny. Unfortunately, football rarely follows scripts. 3 months after his injury, Ethan Cross returned. Healthy, determined, and unhappy. He expected his starting position immediately. Instead, Coach Martin kept Noah in the lineup. The decision created tension. Ethan remained club captain. But Noah had become the team's leading scorer. Neither player openly argued. Yet everyone felt the conflict. The locker room split into groups. Veterans supported Ethan. Younger players supported Noah. Results suffered. Passes arrived late. Communication disappeared. Trust weakened. The championship race tightened. Then everything collapsed. 3 consecutive defeats. Riverside fell from 2nd place to 5th. Fans panicked. Journalists declared the dream over. Pressure mounted daily. Coach Martin called an emergency meeting. The room remained silent. Everyone knew what was at stake. The coach looked exhausted. "Tell me what's happening." Nobody spoke. Finally Noah stood. His hands trembled. His voice didn't. "We stopped playing for each other." Silence. Every player listened. Noah continued. "We care more about who gets credit than winning." His eyes found Ethan. Then everyone else. "We're wasting something special." Nobody interrupted. Because everyone knew he was right. The room stayed quiet for nearly 30 seconds. Then Ethan stood. The captain looked around. At his teammates. At Noah. At the club he'd spent 10 years representing. And finally nodded. "He's right." The tension disappeared instantly. Not completely. But enough. The team had chosen unity. And that decision changed everything. The next match became a turning point. Riverside defeated Northbridge 4-0. Ethan scored. Noah scored twice. The celebration afterward looked different. More genuine. More connected. More like a family. From that moment forward, Riverside became unstoppable. 7 victories in 8 matches. The title race narrowed to 2 teams. Kingston United. And Riverside FC. Nobody could believe it. Especially Noah. Just months earlier he had been unemployed. Now he stood 1 point behind the league leaders. Football truly was unpredictable. The final month arrived. 3 matches remained. The nation watched. The pressure became enormous. Every newspaper featured championship calculations. Every television program discussed Riverside's miracle season. And at the center stood Noah Hayes. The backup striker nobody wanted. Now one of the league's biggest stars. But the hardest challenge still awaited. Part 4: The Championship Decider. The final match day arrived. Riverside trailed Kingston by 1 point. The situation was simple. If Kingston won, they became champions. If Kingston slipped and Riverside won, History would be made. The entire country watched. Millions of viewers. Thousands inside the stadium. A season's worth of dreams balanced on 90 minutes. Before kickoff, Noah sat quietly in the locker room. He remembered everything. The rejection emails. The lonely training sessions. The empty bank account. The insults. The doubts. The fear. Every obstacle that had brought him here. Daniel Reyes approached. "You nervous?" Noah laughed. "A little." "Good." The assistant coach smiled. "It means you care." The whistle blew. The championship match began. Riverside attacked aggressively. Opportunities came and went. The score remained 0-0. Meanwhile, updates arrived from Kingston's match. Kingston was also drawing. The title race remained balanced. Minute by minute. Second by second. The tension became unbearable. Early in the second half, disaster struck. The opposing team scored. 1-0. The stadium fell silent. Players looked devastated. Fans buried their faces in their hands. The dream appeared finished. Yet football often rewards persistence, not perfection. 74th minute. Ethan Cross equalized. 1-1. Hope returned. The crowd roared. The players surged forward. Meanwhile, news arrived. Kingston had conceded. Their match was now tied. The championship race had transformed into chaos. One goal could decide everything. 85th minute. 5 minutes remained. Noah's legs burned. Every sprint hurt. Every breath felt heavy. Then he saw an opening. A midfielder delivered a through ball. Noah accelerated. One defender followed. Then another. The goalkeeper rushed forward. Time seemed to slow. The entire season existed inside a single moment. Noah remembered every rejection. Every disappointment. Every sacrifice. Then he struck the ball. Clean. Powerful. Perfect. The net rippled. Goal. 2-1. The stadium exploded. Players sprinted toward him. Fans cried. Commentators screamed. The nation watched in disbelief. 5 minutes later, the final whistle sounded. Kingston had drawn. Riverside had won. Champions. For the first time in club history. Champions. Noah collapsed onto the grass. Tears streamed down his face. Not because of the trophy. Not because of the fame. But because someone who had nearly given up had reached the top. The impossible had become reality. Epilogue, the name everyone remembered. The championship parade attracted hundreds of thousands of supporters. People filled streets. Children wore his jersey. Banners displayed his name. Noah Hayes. The backup striker nobody wanted. The hero nobody expected. The champion nobody could forget. Months later, he received an invitation to join the national team. The same football establishment that once ignored him now welcomed him. Reporters asked how everything had changed so quickly. Noah always gave the same answer. It didn't happen quickly. The journalists looked confused. Noah smiled. People only noticed at the end. Because success rarely appears overnight. Most victories are built in silence. During lonely mornings. Difficult afternoons. And painful setbacks. The world celebrates the final goal. But champions remember every step that came before it. One evening, Noah visited the old community field where he had trained as a teenager. Nothing had changed. The grass remained uneven. The goalposts remained worn. Children chased footballs across the pitch. One young boy recognized him immediately. "You're Noah Hayes!" Noah laughed. "I am." The boy looked amazed. "You're my favorite player." For a moment, Noah didn't know what to say. Then he knelt beside him. "Keep practicing." The boy nodded eagerly. "What if people say I'm not good enough?" Noah smiled. The answer came easily. Because he had lived it. Then prove them wrong. Years later, fans would remember Riverside's miracle championship season. They would remember the dramatic goals. the emotional comeback, the impossible title race. But above all, they would remember one story. The story of a forgotten substitute. A player rejected by everyone. A striker who wasn't even supposed to make the roster. And yet, when the season demanded a hero, he answered. The entire country chanted his name. Not because he started as a star, but because he never stopped believing he could become one.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more manhwa style stories. Comment your favorite moment.